Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Happy Cinco de Marcho. Right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the Doppler radars are overlaid here. Look at all this moisture streaming into Oregon and Idaho right now. Continuing some snowfall out there. There's some winter weather advisories, some winter storm warnings out for that. But there's a lot of sunshine coming up across a lot of British Columbia, Washington as well. There are some areas of fog, so slow down if you run into that. Could even be some freezing fog, some pretty chilly temperatures here, even west of the Cascades. And this is going to go on for the next few mornings as well. We'll look at that in some detail. We'll look at the extended forecast. As always, as we go through the video here today, looks like a pattern change is probably coming up here as we go towards the next upcoming weekend here. And if we look at some of these temperatures, look at the mountains east, very chilly here, but there are some sub-freezing temperatures here for western Washington, southwest BC out there. Watch out for that black ice. Taking a look across Oregon, also plenty cold across Idaho, Montana, eastern Oregon, and trying to get down towards freezing for some areas even west of the Cascades there as well. We still got that ongoing snow that I mentioned, and you can see that here in the Medford National Weather Service, foot and a half for Crater Lake, and snow for portions east of the Cascades as well. And watch out across that I-5 corridor. Things can get pretty treacherous going across the Siskiyou Summit there, and up and down I-5. Just watch out for those winter driving conditions here, and precipitation will be gradually ending from the northwest to the southeast here, and then it's going to get chilly in the overnight lows here as well. If we look at the winter weather advisory for eastern Oregon, heavy snow along some of the east slopes here, Highway 97, 20, 26. Watch out. Be prepared for those winter driving conditions. This is snow showers continuing through the week for Idaho and Montana as well. And of course, better amounts across the higher terrain, but you could get some locally gusty winds out there as well. Kind of be prepared for that, especially if you're heading eastbound out of I-90 here or western Washington where not much is going on. You might run back into some of that wintry weather conditions here across Idaho and Montana as you're heading eastbound. Now look at Seattle. Again, another day below average yesterday, 45 for the high here. That's 4 straight days to start off March, but that's not the big story. This one is right here. We got 0.3 of an inch of snowfall, and that's pretty noteworthy here because it's pretty uncommon in some of our El Nino years, and I'll show you more on that here in a bit. But we finally did it. We did get that 0.3 of an inch. It's not much, but we'll definitely take it. It was fun to watch it fall. If we look backwards 1980 for SeaTac, you can see we've had 6 years with no precipitation. Every single one of those years has been an El Nino year. Every time it's been La Nina, we've had measurable snowfall. Heck, even time when it's been neutral, we've had measurable snowfall. So this is only the second time it snowed in a strong El Nino. The other one was 97 and 98. But you can see this goes back to 1980. And again, the 6 years, I want to drive home that point. The 6 years without snowfall were all El Nino years. And we kind of a little bit of an accomplishment here, getting that 0.3 of an inch. It kind of looked like we might not get there. We're on into March now, so it gets more difficult the further we go on into the season to get snowfall into the lower elevation. So we're probably right about here now, just coming out of the strong El Nino. And the atmosphere is not really reflecting strong El Nino anymore, and we're probably headed towards neutral and then La Nina conditions as we move through the fall and next winter. And this shows that pretty well. You can see this is the entire globe here. You can see Asia's over here, there's North America, there's the Hawaiian Islands. So we're watching this region here, and you can see it is still above average, but as we go through April, check it out, that upwelling really starts to kick in here across the equatorial Pacific. There's May, June, July, August, September. You guys get the drift here. We are definitely headed towards La Nina. All models are in agreement as we go on in towards next winter. This goes all the way through February 2025 here. So that can bring some interesting conditions here to the Pacific Northwest, can bring snowy mountains and even better chances for snow for lower elevations also. And this is kind of looking at the Southern Oscillation Index, and we are climbing out of the atmosphere reflecting El Nino. So it's slowly but surely headed back towards neutral conditions. And as this goes towards positive here, that kind of shows the lack of El Nino's influence on the atmosphere here. So I thought I'd show that really quick. The atmosphere really doesn't reflect El Nino conditions right now. And if we look at the North American model yesterday, I want to show you what was going on here. So we stopped that onshore flow here, and we kind of turned things a bit offshore as we're going into the evening hours, and that's what allowed for some of that accumulation here across some of the central Puget Sound yesterday. It's that little bit of a mesoscale low there that moved through the area. And yeah, I noticed the winds did go a bit easterly, northeasterly in my house, and it was pretty chilly out there this morning as well. Some black ice to be had. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, watch the temperature at your house, 3-second updates. Click on that link below to save 10%, and you can click on these individual parameters here, and you can build your own graph. Stores all that data for you in the cloud. Highly recommend that one. So looking at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right, here goes our polar lobe that's been with us here. That's finally starting to move out of here. And by Wednesday, we're going to warm things up aloft, and especially by the time we go into Thursday, the ridge nosing in here in advance of these next systems over the Gulf of Alaska. So we're going to warm things up, especially west of the Cascades here. And we're going to start to bring some systems on back in here as we go through this weekend. Still some disagreement on the actual track and just how strong these lows are going to be, but most likely getting a pattern change here as we go towards the weekend. Now, taking a look at the temperatures at 10,000 feet, if you guys have been watching the channel, I like to show these visual diagram of what's going on, and you can see that cold air sliding off to the east, especially as we go on in through later Wednesday and on into Thursday, and you can see that warmer air aloft arriving as we've got the storm systems out over the Gulf of Alaska. It'll be next up as we go towards the weekend. And I just kind of wanted to show you this here really quick. You can see that snowfall across southern Oregon on through eastern Oregon into Idaho here. Maybe Boise getting some additional snowfall here as we go on in through tonight, and then that finally starts to wrap up. And the HRRR here and the North American model are showing a little bit of frozen precipitation here across some of the Puget Sound up towards Vancouver Island as we go on into tomorrow morning. So I don't want to have anybody caught off guard. You might get another coating, and some of these showers are still out and about as we go through Wednesday morning. Then it looks like we start to dry things up, especially as we go on through Tuesday here, and maybe that semblance of that next system starts to roll towards our coastline. Now, if we look a little bit further out, European on the left versus the GFS on the right. Let's put this into motion. There goes the system we've been talking about moving through today. And then we start to bring the next storm system. It's kind of falling apart, kind of a decaying front here as we go on in through Saturday morning. But then this next system's been showing up stronger in the models. The European is a little bit further south and weaker. And then the GFS has the 980 millibar low here as well. So almost an atmospheric river look to it on the GFS, but definitely a stronger system looks to be ramping up here as we go on into the later portions of the weekend, maybe into next week. And one more look at the temperatures aloft here at 850 millibars, 5,000 feet. You can kind of see the little semblance there of that mesoscale low that helped stop that onshore flow yesterday evening and on through last night. And now we've got that cold air aloft here as we go through the day today and tomorrow. And by the time we get to Thursday morning, that's really on its way out, and we start to warm things up in advance of these next systems here. So kind of a nice visual diagram there. And also with the return of those storms, you can see we are kind of lacking on the waves out here on the coastline. Still, don't turn your back on the ocean. You never know. It's a gigantic ocean, the biggest one on the planet. You don't want to end up running into one of those sneaker waves when you think things are calm. But as we go on in towards the weekend, you can see the wave action is really going to start to increase here as we go through Saturday and on through Sunday morning here as well into the early portions of next week. So maybe some good wave watching to be had out there as we go on to the extended forecast. And I want to show the apparent temperature here as well, because this is this morning here, and we're dealing with these pretty chilly temperatures, a little bit warmer across some of the Willamette Valley there. But again, look at the 20s up there across from Northwest Washington, Vancouver, BC, probably a pretty solid freeze for anything left on the roadways out there. And then as we go on into tomorrow morning as well, you can see some pretty chilly temperatures showing up here again. Even Seattle getting below freezing, some 20s up and down the I-5 corridor between Portland and Olympia. Watch out for that. The Willamette Valley really dropping off as we go towards tomorrow also. And these chilly temperatures across the higher terrain as well. And now let's see what Thursday morning has to bring. So here we go. There's Thursday morning right there. Still some sub-freezing temperatures out there to be had. Let's check out Friday morning here. A little bit better. A little bit of moderation starting to occur. And then the next system should be trying to roll in here. As you can see, Saturday morning, probably above freezing for many areas west of the Cascades. Then we go on to Sunday. You can see the moderation has taken place. Now, if we look at Vancouver International Airport, and the general trend is the overnight lows are definitely going to be warming up here as we go towards the weekend and next week. Seattle-Tacoma, something similar there as well. You can see all the way through Friday morning, pretty darn right chilly in the overnight lows, and then warming up as we go through this weekend into next week. Same thing for Eugene here as well. Now, looking at Seattle-Tacoma, this is the extended look at things here. This is all the way out towards March 15th here or 16th, and you can see the warmer temperatures start to arrive. Maybe we'll get some spring-like temperatures here at some point during the month of March. As you can see, we're kind of in the icebox a little bit here, and then we have these warmer temperatures showing up. Take it with a grain of salt. Still a fantasy forecast right now. We'll break this down as we go, but you can see, it is going to be springtime. It's going to be mid-March here, and this is looking all the way out towards early April here as well. So obviously things are going to be warming up to an extent no matter what. And if we look at Spokane, something similar there as well with the very chilly temperatures and the potential warm up. It's that time of the year where Eastern Washington can start to get some warmer days if things line up correctly. This is Boise, similar signal here as well with the chilly air around and then the warm up coming probably mid-month. This is Kamloops, interior British Columbia, kind of in the icebox right now, or relatively so. And then you can see the warmer conditions probably coming. And looking at the interactive map here, you can see the snow water equivalent is doing not bad. We're definitely better than what we were. And Oregon is doing quite well. We still could use another couple rounds for British Columbia, Washington, Idaho, and Montana, however. So yeah, it's been beneficial overall. What else? Yeah, be interesting to see what these systems bring, because that's a 980 millibar low the GFS has out here. The European a little bit weaker and a little bit further south. So we're definitely probably headed towards that pattern change as we go towards the weekend. Looking forward to that. Let's see if we can bring some mountain snows in here as well, and let's see if we get some wind events and some big wave action out there. Always something fun to watch when you look off into the extended forecast, but we'll continue to break that down day by day. Hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.